training video, we're going to talk about the homemade self-defense pocket stick. And it's just a short stick. It's based on what's called the Japanese or Okinawan Yawara, which is just a pocket stick. And it's essentially a fist load, something you can hold in your fist that makes you hit so much harder. So you can break someone's jaw for self-defense. You can hit a lot harder without your knuckles compressing or your fingers compressing. Adds weight to your punch. So you're hitting with a weight in your hand. It's not a lot of weight, but it doesn't need to be to increase your striking power. This allows you to hit somebody a lot harder than if you just used your fist. It also gives you a little bit of protection for that fist. The other thing that you can see here is that some of the stick pops out on both sides, allowing you to come down in a jabbing motion here or a striking, kind of like a hammer fist if you were smashing his nose or you're smashing into his chest or smashing into his clavicle to break it. Hello, Doug. It's good to see you. But with the pocket stick, this Yawara. Hello, Adam. It's good to see you. Adam says, love the techniques. Thank you, Adam, for being here. And then you have this. It's not a sharpened point, but it's a point that you carve yourself. Good morning, Garen. Nice to see you. And then that allows you to concentrate all the force of this downward strike, reverse strike, and then of course there's one on the other side. So a swinging strike. Imagine swinging it into his jaw, into his temple, into his neck, whatever you can remove or destroy. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Doug. That comes from Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. And I put a link. I'm going to tell you how to make this yourself. This is a homemade self-defense pocket stick. Or if you want one of my beautiful, and I'm joking because they almost all come out looking something like this. But these are the ones that I make. I make these and I sell them, and I make them for students here. If you wanted one, there's a link in the description. There's also a link to that book, When Violence is the Answer, which gives you the um, the principles of self-defense. Hello, Suyash. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on this channel and learning. I'll continue to teach if you continue to show up. But this pocket stick applied in this concept of self-defense that Tim Larkin talks about in his book, When Violence is the Answer. Hello, Alita. Is what can you remove or destroy? That's the question he says that you have to ask. What can you remove or destroy? Think about his ability to see, his ability to breathe temporarily, permanently, his ability to be awake. Maybe you strike to his head with enough force that you knock him out, or you strike into this process of nerves in the neck, which send a signal to the brain, which flushes it from blood or the blood out of it. He falls unconscious to the floor. These are questions that you ask yourself when you have to defend yourself. So you have a tool and then you have a technique, but then you need the principle. The principle is most important. What can you remove or destroy? Take a deep breath, and that tells you the target that you're going to strike. And Doug says, can you strike in both directions? Um, Garen says you can use a pencil sharpener. They actually have, Garen, a tool. I've got a tool. It's called a stake sharpener. Stake as in going into the ground. Stake sharpener goes on the end of a drill, and then you can just put your stakes in there. They also make a machine that looks like a giant pencil sharpener. Regular pencil sharpener is not going to work, but I just carve these by hand now. I used to use different tools, and I find it therapeutic. I have a nice little carving knife, and I will take a 36-inch dowel rod, and then I'll cut it down to 6 inches. That allows me to have some coming out of both sides. So you can jab here, you can jab here. Doug asked, can you hit with both sides? Absolutely. You can punch straight into his jaw. You can swing this into his temple. You can bring it down over the top, striking into his face. A reversing strike. Reverse strike is very powerful in this position here. Yeah, Garen says whittling is very relaxing. So you get your whittling knife or a regular knife. I use my regular knife most of the time. And then but I have a really nice whittling knife that works a lot faster. They're just super sharp and it's really strong metal. And, you get better at it. And then you carve whatever shape you want on the end. Or you could even just leave it flat. You're still going to be able to do some damage with it flat. This is going to give you a little bit more of a smaller striking surface that's going to concentrate all the force. And you can hit all the different pressure points with it. You can hit the pressure points in the face. You can even, not with a strike, but just stick it on his face and push him back and get him off of your body. If he's holding on to you, he's got stronger arms, he's bigger than you. You can reach between his arms and stick that right in his throat and start to press back. And you can hear his voice change right before you crush that windpipe. He'll asphyxiate. And for self-defense, it's to your benefit, right? You don't want to have to hurt somebody, but if it's life or death, yours or his, he's trying to hurt you or your family, take away your freedom, your dignity. You have the right to defend yourself. Put your thumb there, stick it right in his throat, push him back, or maybe stick it into the nerves here at the top of the chest. Those are very tender and you can create a lot of pain. You might hold it here, he's holding on to someone, and you come down striking there on the top of the arm and smash there. Um, yeah, Garen says you make one that's flat on one side and pointed on the other. Now, if you carry this, yeah, Doug says he treated his, the one he has that he gave to his daughter, with butcher's block oil. So butcher's block oil is just food grade mineral oil. It's a light oil. It's good for your skin, and you can. I soak mine for a couple days in that, and then I dry them really well, and I rub them, kind of like if you're shining your boots. You want to heat up that oil and get a nice hard finish, and then they last forever. And the butcher's block oil also gets absorbed when they make these sticks at the lumber yard before they send them to your Home Depot or Lowe's or your do-it-yourself store, wherever you are. They'll kiln dry it, so at a low heat, and for a long period of time, they'll suck all the moisture out of the wood so that it doesn't rot and it doesn't get bugs in it by the time it gets to the hardware store. Once you get it, you get your 36-inch dowel, or maybe you get a 16-inch dowel, or however long it is, and you can go for an inch. I make these in an inch and an inch and a quarter. I like the inch and a quarter. It's a little bit bigger for my big hand, and then it hits so much harder. But soaking it in the oil allows it to absorb the moisture from the oil, absorbs back into the fiber of the wood, making the wood stronger and less likely to break, but also heavier, so that when you're striking and you're punching and you're smashing someone in his jaw for self-defense, then it's going to hit him so much harder. Tom's here from Germany. Good morning, or good evening, Tom. It's morning here. It's evening where you are. Um, but it's just 6 inches, and yeah, Garen says you can go 6 to 8 inches. You can go as long as you want. Just measure your hand, and even you put the stick in your hand and then just mark it where you want to cut it, and you can go a little bit wider. I like this size. This is 6 inches, so that means my fist is a little bit less than 6 inches. Maybe there's a half an inch sticking out each side. Or you can go 8 inches. You can have it out a little bit longer. There's no perfect size except for what's perfect for you. But when you carry it, if someone were to ask me what this is, if they were asking because they thought I had something I shouldn't have, I would just say, you know what, it's a massage stick. I use it to roll out the muscle adhesions in my the muscle, the knots that get into my muscles. You can also use this for pressure point release. I have hip pain a lot, although it's been so much better. I got to tell you guys one day what I'm doing. Well, I'll tell you right now, I've been eating keto, carnivore, but I get made fun of all the time because my version of carnivore is butter and meat. So I've been eating a lot of butter and meat, but I am dropping weight so fast. It's incredible. And I've had 2 blood tests since I've started, and my tests are coming out better than they've ever been. So, all this stuff about you're going to kill yourself, this and that, I don't know. I don't believe it. I'm losing the weight, and all the inflammation has left my body, and my hip feels great. I walked like 8 miles yesterday. And I don't, I know this isn't a video on nutrition, and don't quote me. I'm not a doctor, and don't follow me. I'm just giving you my feedback from having done it for 3.5 weeks now. But it's been amazing. So now I'm thinking, like, do I need to get the hip replaced? Anyway, when my piriformis locks up in the back, I'll take this and I will just shove that in there. And then after holding it for about 30 seconds, the muscles release. So this is your massage stick. Hello, Steven. It's good to see you. Alita, it's good to be here. Or thanks for that feedback. Alita says, great to hear. So you're carrying in your pocket, and Garen said, the benefit of the thinner one is that it fits in your pocket better. So I have this in my pocket. I'll have this with me all day today. This is in my pocket. I also will have a blade. I will have on my hip a very powerful, and I'm very accurate, I'm not meaning to brag, but I am. If you practice all the time and you do a dry fire a lot, which I do a lot, so that you're not. Uh, I think so many people who maybe are in professional self-defense or professional defense, um, they don't. I don't think you shoot enough, right? Either on the range or, and it's expensive to shoot. It's real ammo is so expensive. So I do a lot of dry fire, and I think you've got to do a lot of dry fire to stay. If you're a professional, if you believe in professionalism, you believe in being able to use the self-defense tools that you carry. I'll also carry this, and if I need to go into um, courthouse, if I have, because I'm not law enforcement, I can't carry mine. I'm not allowed to carry a firearm anywhere that the sign says don't carry it in here. You got to, lock it up. I've got safes in the car. I'll lock it up. If I go into a non-permissive environment, when I go into the VA, which I've been doing I was in the VA yesterday from 6:30 in the morning for a CAT scan. And then again, I had another appointment like 8:30 for multiple other tests and stuff. And I'm fine. It's just that they're so thorough. The VA treats the veterans so much better than they ever have since the previous administration and the one that's coming in January passed a law and made the VA so much better. But the point is, I cannot carry any weapon. It says it everywhere, not even on the property. Do not bring weapons onto this property. But when I go in, I've got my pocket stick in my pocket. And just having an extra layer of self defense, a force multiplier. This is your force. This is the multiplication. Now you've got this heavy fist load smashing his teeth down his throat for self defense, striking, taking his eyeball out of his head, right? His ability to see, his ability to breathe, smashing his nose, smashing the teeth down his throat for self defense if you had to, because you're concentrating and, like I said, multiplying the force that you create with your body, multiplying and concentrating it. So you're taking all that force and you're bringing it down to the smallest point that you're striking with, and that creates so much more power and so much more effectiveness for self-defense. So this is the pocket stick, and we've been talking about which sticks do you like, what's your favorite stick to carry. I have a cane with me in the car all the time. I have an umbrella, a self-defense umbrella, which is 36 inches and nearly indestructible and heavy and hits really hard. I have that with me all the time. And then I have a pocket stick. Doug asked if I have pocket sticks in stock. I do. I have, I think, 4 or 5 that I just pulled out of the oil last night and wiped down. So I do have the pocket sticks. I'm making some. I have a couple of self-defense seminars coming up in January, and I don't know how many people I'll have, but I'm starting to make a bunch to get ready. So that'll be one of the things that I give to the participants, and I'll teach them how to multiply their force and hit so much harder by having just a little stick that they can throw in a bag, throw in a purse, throw in their backpack, or carry in a pocket. And we've always talked about, take your keys and put them between your fingers when you walk to the car at night. You get the idea. So that you can hit with your keys. And we talk about using a flashlight. You can walk with this at night, and then you can blind them if you need to. Figures your fist load, has that rip their skin off their face. So you can use this, and you can also use your Yawara pocket stick. So if you want one of mine, it's in the description. The link to purchase one of mine is in the description, or save your money, make your own, buy yourself a dowel, cut it down 6 inches or however long you want to make it. Put this little bevel on the end if you want. You can either I make them a little bit longer. Sometimes I make them shorter. And then sand it up really well. I used 3 grits of sandpaper, 80, 120, and 220. So I start with 80 and get all the splinters off. I go to 120, make it nice and smooth. And then that 220 makes it really smooth. And then I soak it for a couple days. And then that absorbs that moisture, that oil, the butcher block oil, makes it heavier, makes it more indestructible. Yeah, and you can carry one in your car. I've got these all over the place. Um, so either buy one or make one if you want, or if not, if it's not the right self-defense tool for you, don't worry about it. But put in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the pocket stick. Do you have one already? I know a lot of you in the chat have said you already carry them. And if not, would you consider it? And what other sticks do you like? But you guys have been awesome. I'll see you on the next one. I'm getting ready to go to work. I have been doing these in my car lately because I am just working a lot of hours, and I find myself here with less time at the house to make them in the garage dojo. But we're going back to that, and then eventually I'll have a studio again or a nicer office where I can put a studio in it, and we'll make the videos there. Thank you, Stephen. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody in the chat, and let me know. What do you think? Do you like the pocket stick, the Yawara? Is it for you? Do you think it's too gimmicky? Is it silly? Let me know if you've ever punched anybody in the face while you were holding something in your fist, and how did that go? And well, give us some feedback. Do you think, because that's basically what you're doing, is you're just making your fist harder, heavier, and when you're striking with just a straight punch, you're going to be able to generate a lot more power. Have you ever knocked anybody back or knocked anybody down or knocked anybody out using a fist load? And do you see the value of having a point on each end that you can jab or stick in their eye? Yeah, Doug says it's a great tool for law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers have been carrying all kinds of fist loads for years, both legally and illegally, I'm sure, or approved and unapproved. But I'm all for letting them. Um, yeah, Mike says use the roll of dimes. And in New York, you couldn't carry anything else, so you carried a roll of dimes. But what do you think? Put that in the comment section, and we'll get our discussion going on the Yawara pocket stick. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.